Well, exciting times. I've done all the jobs I promised I'd do in the garden. Everything's tidied up, back out, ready for the summer. Although it's raining all day today, but it means I can. I've got permission to get back up here now and continue doing some work in the train room. So my plans are to continue with the fiddle yard, do a few other little bits and pieces as well. But it's just nice to get back up and have 2 or 3 days up here. And I think the forecast is for rain all week, so I'm not missing out on anything else. Well, I've spent the last couple of days getting all these points motors loosely wired in. You can't see, but I don't know if you can hear, but thankfully everyone seems to be moving fine, throwing right over as well, so I've got no issues there. Whether that's by luck or by judgment, I don't know, but not an issue with one of them. Obviously the wiring's quite scary at the minute. I've got a bit of a spaghetti junction, but oops, excuse me. As I said, I don't want to start chopping these down yet till I finalise the position for this. So my next plan now will be to get the framework in. So this framework, get it in across the front here for the next board, and that'll just give me a batten to be able to fasten that control board to, because I have decided it's going to go here. So that will be the next step, and once it's finally positioned, I can tidy all these wires up then. I've had a couple of really interesting suggestions regarding placing this control panel. Because, you know, I had a bit of a dilemma where it was going to go. One of them suggested maybe like a piano hinge, so that it would hinge up out of the way and then just drop down when I want to use it, you know, which could work. And another one's maybe have it on the kind of slider, you know, like the drawer on your cabinets where you have them drawer sliders. So I could just be in, I could just pull it out when I needed to. So that is another possibility. I'd need to, if I went down one of those routes, just work out about the wiring, making sure it's kept neat and there's enough giving it to be able to move as I want. But you know, that's potentially another couple of ideas that I'd not considered. Well, I have ordered one of these control panels, just waiting for it to be delivered. I had to order it direct from Gauge Master in the end. The one I've got my eye on's gone. So it is on order. Hopefully it'll be here in the next couple of days, which means I can get that fitted and see if that is the issue. I managed to pick up a haul of vehicles just to add to the layout over the last week. I've been looking at these for a while on the Rails of Sheffield eBay site, and I know every now and again they put an offer out, and they've just done the Easter one with 15% off. So I just bought these. A couple of them are too modern for the layout, but there's some old trucks and what have you on there, so I'll be able to add most of them. I mean, I think this van's obviously far too modern for what I need, but it's a small sacrifice for everything else that I managed to get. Well, I spent a bit of time this morning just retesting all the track on that back ladder with various engines and a bit of rolling stock. I was having a bit of difficulty cutting the rods down off the point motors and getting it low enough, but everything's running over them fine. There's no catching. So now that's done, my attention's now turning to this front ladder. So I'm going to start building the framework. Going to get this front support in first. Then there'll be another one to run across the back, and then the cross members of which the boards will sit on. So I'm going to crack on with this. Right, that's the framework in for the second ladder. Boards are just loose, a slight bow on them, but once I get them screwed down, they'll be in, and then it'll be a case of getting the foam board on top. I think I'm going to have to bob out and get some more PVA because I've run out. There is a gap there where these posts are. I was going to try and get intricate and cut these wider and cut round, but I thought, what's the point? It's only for a fiddle yard. It's not scenic. So, as I say, next step, I'll get all these screwed down now, and then we'll move on to get some PVA and get the foam board down. I did in fact have just enough glue left, so I've managed to get the foam boards all cut and in place now. Just weighted it down with whatever I could grab hold of. So hopefully that will set overnight and we'll move on. It's the next morning. This is all dried now, so I'll get the weights off and start to move on, see what I'm going to do in terms of track laying. I had said I was just going to put a loop in just to get it joined up, but I thought if I've got all the track and all the points and everything, why don't I just crack on and get all the track laid for the second ladder. I don't know if you can see, but the bus wires, I'd loosely laid a length and looped it round there, and I've just laid it down roughly to the length I'm going to need right to the end for this second ladder. But what I'm thinking is, I'm sorry I'm spinning around a bit, I think I'm going to have to build the framework for this later extension just so I can get the bus wire threaded through and loop round so I've got the exact length, so it's not just hanging loose everywhere. Because if I just start to pin it now to this first ladder, second ladder, I don't know how much I'm going to need to leave, and it's just going to be hanging loose and I'm not going to be able to thread it through. So I'm going to build that framework first before I go any further now. Just making sure this framework's going to be level. The digital level says perfect, but I'm sure that bubbles off to that side slightly. So whether the spirit level is just a bit old and worn out, not sure. Right, I think that will do for now. It just means I can drill 2 holes through there to take the wires that way and then bring them back through here and take them round and get them pinned all along this front board. Obviously I'm not going to board any of this out yet, but I will leave a little loop of bus wire through there, and then that can be pinned up as and when I get these boards put in at a later date. But it means I can get back to what I wanted to do now and get some track laid. I think for this track work I'm going to look at these 4 points first, just loosely get them positioned and work it from there. Now these are the curve points, but they're the new Unifrog ones, so I'm just going to have to refresh myself and recap on the wiring for these. Is it any different? I have watched a couple of YouTube videos a while back, but I'm just probably going to have to look again just to see what I need to do, if anything special to these. And then I do just need to tweak this end because I want to be able to have a point coming off here somewhere. Just conscious how sharp it's going to be to get some lines coming down there. So I'll probably need to play around and just adjust some of this. Just quickly marking on here where the beams are, the supports underneath, just to make sure when I position those points over there, I clear the beam that's running across that side so it doesn't obstruct any point motors. At least I've got the freedom to do that because there's quite a big area I can play around with these points. I think I've decided on the rough position for these points. That means there's going to be nothing fouling any of the point motors. So I think I'm going to go away now, do a bit of homework, try and read up about just how to wire these unifrog points in. Hopefully it's not too difficult. So I'll go away, do that, and then we'll see if we can get back up and get some track actually laid down. I've just moved the coaches away and put them on these this first ladder at the back. I don't know if I'm missing a trick because there's probably a good 20 centimetres, 10 inches there. Is that wasted? Could I get another couple of lines in maybe? Possibly. So I don't know whether I could go back and just revisit that actually. Well, I think I've done my homework on these unifrog points even. They do look quite simple to wire up. They've got the frog wire. I don't need insulating rail joiners because there's already a break in the tracks. I will add a power feed to each one just to make sure there's power going all the way through, but they look pretty straightforward to install. So my plan was, as I think I mentioned, to start this area first and then work out from these points along to the other side down this way. But I think I'm going to have to change the plan there and start from the other end. As you can see on this original plan, since I've done this, I've now going to board all this area, and I wanted some lines coming off down here just to some dead end storage, but it's not quite as easy as I thought. My original plan was maybe just to, I've got the points laid out roughly where they're clearing all the joists and everything, and then going back to the plan, my first thought was maybe just to put a curve in, a point in here to bring them out, but there's just not enough room. It's going to be too tight to try and get any tracks in. So my next thought was then to maybe get a point off this one and bring, and then it gives me a better curve now to spread out a load of lanes going down that way, but this is in the way. So I don't know if you can see better from this angle, but I was thinking this point we could go there, and then I could curve the tracks and do point work across there to bring them out. But for some reason, all the joists, so like the support legs, sorry, this, like this one and all the way along here, they're all on this side of this cross member, but for some reason I put this side. So really, if it was in line, it would actually sit there. And I think I could then work and get enough clearance to do a curve out that way. The reason I didn't take this one off is because I'd put all the fascias on, and this is screwed from this cross member through this way. So I couldn't get to them. I didn't want to have to rip all this off, but I'm thinking now I'm probably going to have to just bite the bullet and do that, so I can move this leg back, which will give me then the clearance to get this point work in. So it's taken a little bit longer than I thought, but I think I need to get this side in first and then work towards the point work over the other side. So I think here goes nothing. There's a couple of screws there in the fascia, which I'd have to try and chip out the filler. And then I think it goes along and the join is there. So there's a couple I can just see through there, and I think there's probably a couple more somewhere. So I'll try and rip those out, pull this off as neatly as I can, unscrew this, take that bit out there, move it across, fasten it all back in, level it up, and get the fascia back on. Well, I might have struck a bit lucky there. I took these two out and these two out. Because it's only 3mm ply, I was able to bend it, just pull it out far enough to get the little impact driver in and get the screw out. So probably a little bit easier than I thought. Well, that's quite an easy fix in the end. I don't know why I just didn't do that in the first place. It only meant taking 4 screws out, which I can soon fill and paint over. I think part of me thought I'd glued it as well, but thankfully it was only screwed. So I'll continue now. We'll start getting some track laid, wires, droppers and everything else done, point motors installed, and I shall catch up with you soon.